on Murrow News 8, will officials be able to control Paradise Creek?
And the bodies of missing teens may have been found. Murrow News 8 starts now.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Promise Calloway.
And I'm Asher Lind. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
According to the Moscow Pullman Daily News, the city of Moscow will use almost $300,000 in grant funding to explore ways to minimize the flooding and property damage near Paradise Creek. City Supervisor of Community Planning and Design, Bill Belknap, said studies will be conducted and include a field survey of current channel conditions and development of a hydraulic model to understand how flooding events occur. The study area will include land from Darby Road near Mountain View Park to the State Highway 8 underpass, an area Belknap said receives the most extensive flooding from Paradise Creek. 2 Pullman officers are being recognized for their actions in a domestic dispute. A 6-hour standoff with the regional SWAT team and a 3-hour phone call with a suicidal person ended peacefully last year thanks to the help of these 2 officers. The Pullman Police Department named Senior Patrol Officer Don Hariff, located on the left, is Law Enforcement Officer of the Year, and gave Senior Officer Brian Chamberlain, on the right-hand side of your screen, its Humanitarian Award. Hariff said he tries to empathize with people, offer them thoughtful suggestions, and make them feel like they're being heard. Congratulations to these officers.
A lawsuit filed by attorneys representing a former Meade High School student and her family accuses the school district of failing to protect the victim from a teacher's grooming and sexual abuse. According to the lawsuit, was filed against the Meade School District on January 29, 2020 in Spokane County Superior Court. Former Meade High School teacher Wesley Perez pleaded guilty to sexual misconduct with a minor in May 2019. School officials told CREM that Perez was no longer employed with the district after he was on paid administrative leave. According to Como News, 2 bodies were found Tuesday in rural King County, believed to be the teenagers who were reported missing since Saturday of the 18th. 18-year-old Austin Grote and his girlfriend, 17-year-old Alicia McCaskill. Investigators found Grote's car off Mud Mountain Dam Road. Searchers found a deceased teenage male and deceased teenage female in the same area. Sheriff's officials say they have tentatively identified the bodies as those of the missing pair. Right now, there is no sign of foul play. Identification of the bodies and the cause of the death will be determined by the King County Medical Examiner's Office.
An allegedly intoxicated 59-year-old man reportedly walked in front of a moving vehicle shortly before 7 p.m. Saturday on the 500 block of East 3rd Street in Moscow and was struck by a car, according to Moscow Police Department. The man was taken to Gritman Medical Center for abrasions and a possible broken leg and ribs. He was given a warning for being in the roadway. Calling all chocolate lovers. Spokane will be hosting a chocolate festival this Friday, February 7th. This sampling event features more than 20 vendors of chocolate, coffee, donuts, pastries, and even more. Events are scheduled from 4 to 9 p.m. with a variety of workshops, including the history of chocolate, cookie decorating, and dipping chocolate strawberries with a melting pot. The festival will be at the Davenport Grand Hotel, and tickets range from $20 to $60. You can buy your tickets at Spokane7tickets.com.
After a couple dry weeks, it's starting to look like we've got some snow coming in. Jasmine, what's going on there?
Yeah, Asher, according to the U.S. National Weather Service, there is a winter storm warning that started today from 4 p.m. and is expected to last until 12 p.m. Wednesday. The snowfall has already started and expected to turn into heavy snow, piling up to 5 to 10 inches. The impact of the snow is predicted to affect travel, so it will be very difficult to impossible. Areas affected are Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Hayden, Worley, Pullman, Moscow, Plummer, Potlatch, and Genesee. The heavy snowfall is predicted to affect the Wednesday morning commute, so if you travel, the National Weather Service has advised travelers to give yourself extra time to reach your destination and also to keep an extra flashlight, food, and water in your vehicle in case of an emergency.
And coming up, an update on the Iowa caucus.
And a look at this week's weather when Murrow News 8 returns.
Thanks, Promise. Let's jump into it. I mentioned earlier that there has been snowfall that is starting, and it's expected to last until 12 p.m. tomorrow. Let's take a look at today. We had a high of 55, it looks like, and a low of 32. With our sunrise came up a little past 7 a.m. this morning and went down a little shy before 5 p.m. Now tomorrow it's supposed to continue to snow until noon, and our low is 37 here with a high of 38, and the snow will turn into rain around the afternoon. Our Washington map coming up here, we have Olympia here with a high of 37 and a low of 37 as well. Seattle looks like it'll be a high of 43 and a low of 41. Heading to Yakima, we have some snow showers along with a high of 33 and a low of 28. And then Tri-Cities, let me switch here, is a high of 39 and a low of 35 degrees. Spokane is looking like snow showers as well with a high of 39 and a low of 29 degrees. And then Pullman, as I mentioned before, a high of 31, a low of 27 with some snow showers that will turn into rain tomorrow. Now into our 5-day forecast here. We have Wednesday at 54 degrees and a low of 34 degrees, and then Thursday we have 54 degrees again with a low of 32. Friday into the weekend is a high of 54 degrees and a low of 32, and then Saturday some rain with a high of 54 and a low of 32, and then Sunday mostly clear skies and a cloudy morning with a high of 54 and a low of 32. Just a reminder, if you are commuting tomorrow morning, give yourself extra time. Past midnight tonight, the snow will pick up and is expected to get to 5 to 10 inches. So give yourself plenty of time. Pack some extra clothes just in case there's an emergency, and check those weather updates that can be found on the weather report online. Back to you, Asher and Promise in the newsroom.
CNN live updates are saying Pete Buttigieg is winning the Iowa caucus. According to CNN, 62% of precincts have reported results, and Buttigieg has the lead at 26.9%. Right behind him is Bernie Sanders at 25.1%, followed by Elizabeth Warren at 18.3% and Joe Biden at 15.6%. If elected, Buttigieg would be the first openly gay president. We know the coronavirus has caused a large international impact, but how is it impacting people in Pullman?
Jane McDonald has the story.
My family, I would say they don't go out to the crowded place that much anymore. The government already told the public that do not go to crowded place, wear masks, wash your hands.
It began at a seafood market in eastern China. Now the entire world is facing a health crisis, and for some, is hitting too close to home.
Because it's not that far away. When we take the high-speed trains like an hour away from where I live, 2 hours maybe. It's a really nice place.
Wuhan, a city that has been infected by a new strain of the coronavirus.
Virus is virus. You can't really control it till you find a cure for it.
A coronavirus is an umbrella term that can describe many different things, most notably severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS.
SARS was a deadly virus until scientists came out with a vaccine. So what makes this new strain any different? Well, you'd have to go microscopically to see.
If you look on your screen, you can see the SARS virus on your left, the new strain on the right. They are nearly identical, but if you look close enough, you'll see small hooks on the surface of the new virus. Those hooks render vaccines useless. The coronavirus is spreading from China to the rest of the world at a rapid rate. The first case in America was in Everett, Washington, only 300 miles away from Pullman. Local nurse Diane Whittick is an infection prevention specialist at Pullman Regional Hospital and recommends basic hygiene as the best way to stay healthy.
Proper hand hygiene, diligent hand hygiene, and limit your contact with your face and your eyes and your nose and your mouth.
As we continue to learn more, I'm Jane McDonald for Murrow News 8.
And when we come back, Jane McDonald has your sports. Literally. Hey, I'm just following the script.
Welcome back to Murrow News 8. Arguably one of the busiest places in Pullman this week will be Beasley Coliseum. The WSU's women's basketball team will be staying on the Palouse to battle it out against the Colorado Buffs. Both teams are nearly identical in their standings, with WSU edging out slightly, making for an exciting game. The game will start in Beasley Coliseum at 7 p.m. On Sunday, our own men's basketball team will be competing for the Apple Cup. Last year, the Dogs took a lead by 2 points to win the Apple Cup. It's been 2 years since the team has won, so we will be excited to see the Cougs have a redemption this Sunday at 3 p.m. All right, well, that's all for our basketball news and for our sports tonight. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Jane. When we return, a Pullman company is being honored.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
The National Association of Business Resources has named its 500 best and brightest companies to work for in the country for 2019, and Pullman's very own College Hill made the list. Companies are recognized for their commitment to employee education and internal communications. College Hill is a branded merchandise studio that creates custom apparel and products. It was founded in Pullman by Washington State grad Tony Poston in 2011. The 500 best companies to work for in the U.S. will be featured in the February online edition of Core magazine. Well, thank you for watching tonight. Be sure to watch our newscasts at nwpb.org/mn8 and on Cable 8 at 7 and 10.